This is a Forex Preview here at xm.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll be having a closer look at Eurozone inflation numbers for June. I'm Christina Marujos, and joining me today is Marios Hadjikyriacos, Senior Investment Analyst. The Eurozone economy seems to be improving, Marios. Restrictions have been lifted, and the economy has been gradually reopening. However, economists are looking at a slowdown in inflation. What are we likely to see in the numbers, and are there any lingering risks?
Hello, Christina. Well, indeed, the forecasts seem a little bit strange. The Eurozone economy is finally regaining steam. It was a very tough winter, lockdowns everywhere, but finally the economy has reopened. And if you look at what the latest PMI business surveys have said, for example, they point to an economy that's booming, reflecting this reopening momentum, vaccinations, and consumers being more willing to spend and businesses hiring more. So June looks like it was a great month in the Eurozone. So that makes it quite strange to see that the forecasts for inflation point to a minor slowdown. I believe that the risks surrounding these forecasts are tilted to the upside, that we might see a positive surprise. And I believe that's especially the case when you also consider that oil prices continued to rise during that month.
And now let's have a look at the euro. It has been taking its cues lately from dollar moves. Can a positive CPI print offer it some support?
Yes, I think it can. So if we see a substantial positive surprise, the euro might get some life back. But I believe that the overall trend is lower, and it really comes back to the dollar and the Fed. So moving forward, I think that we are looking at a period of divergence between the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank. And it really comes down to this. America is much ahead of the Eurozone in the recovery process. The US politicians have unleashed much more spending in the economy, whereas the Eurozone has really lagged behind on that front this year. And the US was first to vaccinate and so on. And if you just look at economic data, what the PMIs are doing, what economic growth is doing, inflation, everything points to a US economy that's stronger than the Eurozone. And reflecting all of this, we've seen the Fed take the first step towards exiting its cheap money policies, where they might take another step in August or in September, whereas the ECB seems to be moving in the opposite direction. We've seen some reports lately that the ECB is considering raising its inflation target, which would essentially signal it will commit to negative rates for even longer. So I think that ultimately this argues for a lower euro dollar, because we are very likely to see the Fed moving months, if not years, before the ECB towards normalizing policy.
Marios, thank you for joining me today. This was a Forex Preview on Eurozone inflation numbers for June. Thanks for watching at xm.com.